All right, so let's talk about one of my investors that I was recently talking to, and it happens to be a story of him and one of his siblings. So they both start out working, they both get jobs in the same field, the same industry, and they're making about 100,000 to 200,000 a year. After all expenses and feeding their families, one brother saves $50,000 a year for the next 5 years, giving him $250,000 in savings. The other brother takes the same 250,000 or the 100 to 200,000 that he's making and just completely spends everything, just like new cars, bigger house. And what happens is over time, 30 years later, the brother that saved 50,000 a year went out, took that money and put a down payment on a four-family property. 30 years later, that property was paid off. That property started making him, it was making him money the whole time over that 30 years, making him a couple $1,000,000. And then after that time, that brother was able to retire completely because that property now provided him with $15,000 a month in cash flow after all expenses. Well, the other brother that spent all the money on nice things and living a nice lifestyle is now also older. However, that brother still has to work and still has to produce an income in order to sustain that lifestyle. And that could be the difference between you getting into real estate and buying assets to be able to retire when you're 50 versus you not getting into real estate and not buying assets and then having to work after you are 50 for a long time.